Welcome to the Not Nerd Show. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor. There you are. Phew, I didn't see you come in.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I was hiding here the whole time.
we are in the same room.
I was here.
Yes.
I'm gonna switch to your
I've green screened you into AI. Dave green screened into my camera.
Look. Oh yeah, it's
You can
actual.
touch the mustache.
Touch
Yes.
the mustache. It is
Yes, we just got done watching 2 hours of Apple's WWDC Keynote. We have a ton of stuff to talk about, but before we get started, I've got a surprise
Okay.
hat that Dave has not even seen yet. I've been hiding it from him.
Let's see what it is.
I'll reveal it on camera.
Oh, nice vintage Apple font hat. Now,
Yes.
is this an official hat, or did you get it made?
I officially made it myself this morning, a possible future pick of the week. I
Oh, you
made
did?
my first trucker hat today.
How was it
So,
accomplished?
magic.
I guess we have to. You're gonna talk about it later.
Well, yes, it's a transfer, a
Yeah.
printed transfer,
Well,
but yes.
Don't take away the mystery of how. It's
Yes,
done.
yes.
So, yes, we're here. We watched the Worldwide Developer Conference 2024. And for those of you who are surprised that it isn't Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.,
Yes.
it's because the Developer Conference keynote address was on Monday morning. So here we are in Not Nerd Studio West. And we're going to talk about what they did today.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
we didn't even remember to tell producer Todd our plans. So,
Well, he's always on YouTube. And
yes.
so he should see a little light up because he's subscribed, which is a reminder to like and subscribe. And if you do the little bell, you'll
Yes.
be notified.
Ring that bell.
Ring
Ding,
that
ding,
bell.
ding.
Let's see.
Yes, I don't have I should have brought my bell. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they talked for
Lot of
2
stuff.
hours about everything. They started with a fun parachuting video with Craig Federighi and some of the Apple staff jumping out of an airplane with their fancy Apple things. And then we got to Tim Cook introducing.
Yes.
And
He started out with Apple TV Plus and how
Yes.
many great shows that they've been part of. And basically, we've spent billions of dollars on content. Please watch it.
yes, yeah, they rattled off like 8 shows that I didn't know existed, and I
Yeah.
have watched some shows on there and really enjoyed them, so I'm going to get back. But new seasons of some of their popular shows are coming. They're really doing a good job
Yeah.
with their TV programming.
It's still a little frustrating when you go into the Apple TV Plus app on your devices and they show you content from all carriers. And it's like, I just want to see the Apple stuff. So you have to find the little Apple TV button,
Yes.
and then finally you can get to it.
Well, we'll get to something later
Oh,
that will change that. But so they
Interesting.
talked about that, and then they started off with Vision OS 2 for the Apple Vision Pro, which they announced last year at WWDC, the product.
That was a big surprise. I was not expecting them to have version 2 of the operating system so soon. I mean, it's been a year.
Yes.
Well, it's been a year since the beta. So I guess that makes sense. This is a beta of Apple Vision 2. But what a welcome surprise, because they could have just said, we made the Vision Pro, we made the software, here you go.
Yes, yes. They're making improvements, and it's been out. The Vision Pro, it's the physical product, has been out for about 4 months. Now, quick disclaimer on all these software versions that we're talking about, they will not be released most likely till the fall. The developer betas are available now. They should have public betas this summer, usually about a month from now, and then sometime this fall the software will be pushed out to everyone. But there was, on the Vision OS 2, there was a couple things that I really I think will be helpful for me that
Okay.
I was really excited about. But they did talk about you can use any photos in your library and convert those into the depth photos, which are pretty fun. I don't use it a ton. They've got Share Play in the Photos app, so you'd be able to share stuff. The Mac Virtual Display, they are making some improvements to that. So I can make my laptop screen, 120 inches in there, but they're adding higher resolution and some more formats. So you could have a wider screen or a double wide as opposed to multiple monitors, which I am perfectly fine with.
Double wide reminds me of growing up.
Yes, your Utes. But I think that'll be awesome. And it's kind of this wraparound two 4K screens. So I'll be able to have all my million app windows open.
So it's the equivalent of two 4K screens, but it's one single display. Right?
One single, yes.
Like a widescreen display.
Yes, yeah. So I'm excited for that. They also added some currently to get to the app screen with all your app circles, you have to press the button to kind of trigger that or use Siri. Now there's going to be a hand gesture for that. And there was another hand gesture too, but I forget what the other one was. Something to get to the control center, which right now you have to like look way up and then click and stuff. So again, they've had all these people using it now for a while, so they're getting a lot of good feedback. They are pushing it out to more countries, which it has been US only still. So I think there's 8 countries that it's coming to for our international listeners. But some new APIs for developers. Wow, this is the first time I'm getting to experience the mechanical keyboard.
Was it distracting? I have other keyboards.
That is, we are very different in that world. It's fine. It is fine. Canon cameras will have a
what's that?
Spatial lens for shooting spatial videos.
Yeah, that was kind of nice, and I was lamenting the fact that they didn't announce a Sony one for my little Sony camera. Which does seem a little off kilter, but so if you're looking at home and you're thinking, are they on a boat? It's like
we look pretty even, but yes, it is.
It's a little tilted, but that's okay. I contacted producer Todd a moment ago and we were commenting about the keyboard, and he says he forgot that we were doing the show this morning, and he's at the bins.
Oh,
so
well,
let's see.
Get out to your car and
us up something good.
Should have known he'd be at the Vins.
Yeah.
Yes, we were. I did not do a good job of reminding people, as I often forget to do on social medias and etc. to do.
I mean, we live lives.
Yes, we do have lives. So the new Canon lens for immersive video, and then also they're working with Blackmagic Design for a workflow to record content, which is kind of interesting because they have their own camera tools, but they have mentioned Blackmagic.
Well, and that new app, and I figured out how to operate that app properly when I was at the wildlife sanctuary over there.
Oh yeah,
and I got some really good shots. Maybe I'll share them next week or something. With that Blackmagic Design, I finally have figured out
how to
lock the lenses and to do what I want to do.
Yes, so it's a little bit. There's a learning curve.
So more on that
one.
later.
So yeah, the Vision Pro, I'm excited. I'll probably install the betas on that just to get whatever new features they add. But then after that, we move to iOS 18, which... Well,
and just as you're going there, the Vision Pro is going to be available.
Oh, I did say that. I went out of order. I didn't see it in your notes there. And again, kudos to Dave, who during the entire thing is on his iPad just typing out notes and trying to... They had so many different terms and names of things. It's like, what's this called that we're talking about now?
I'm sure I missed some, but it's just the highlights.
Yes.
iOS 18. This is the operating system for your phone, not this phone, but it's not for iPad. It's not for your Mac. It's for the phone.
Yes.
And I was impressed.
Yeah. What was their first thing that they brought out that it's been rumored and been wanted for years?
Well, let's just say I'm impressed, and we'll move on to iPad. No, there's lots to talk about. The home screen. Where is my phone? I think it's in my pocket. So, your pesky home screen. I've got it arranged in such a way so that I have a widget at top, and I have a couple apps, and then there's just gap at the bottom. There's a couple spaces. Well, I would prefer that those icons could be moved from the top down to the bottom. And now, after 20 years of iPhone, you can now move the applications anywhere on the grid of apps, which is so. believe you me, I'm going to have some very innovative designs on my
Innovative
screen.
designs. Yeah. Yeah. Along with that, you can have dark mode icons if you use dark mode, which I'm
Yeah,
a firm believer in. You
right.
can do icon color customizations where all of your icons, there's a little color slider, or it can try to match your background picture.
Yeah, just imagine if you made all your icons black and white, and then you put a color filter over them so that they're all orange or blue or
Yeah.
gray or whatever. Very, very cool. And this is nothing new. There have been applications that people have spent a lot of time
Yes.
customizing icons with shortcuts that go
Yeah.
to a thing.
Oh,
That's done. And
that's
now you
done.
can just do it in the operating system, which
Apple finally said it was okay to have this.
yes, yes. Control Center was another item that was very interesting. Right now you swipe down and you've got some items in your Control Center. I've been trying to get into the HomeKit
Yeah.
stuff, so my
Yeah.
lights and different things can be controlled. And so there's little buttons for some of those, and you can go into the settings and you can configure some of these things. Well, they've overhauled it now where you can add and remove and rearrange things right from the home screen itself, and you could have multiple pages or groups of
Yes.
home uh, control center items. Like, uh, for example, if you had a third party app that had a little widget in control center, you could add that right there. The example was a Ford vehicle had some
Yes.
type of charging information. Well, you can add that, you can remove it right there. You could rescale the size of the button so that it's
Yes,
bigger.
that'll be nice because yeah, my control center, I use it all the time, but there's so much stuff I don't need in there, and like my front door lock, I want to make that huge. I use that one all the
Yeah,
time,
it's
and
you don't want to
get
hunt
rid of
for
the
it.
things that I don't need. I could have another page with Shazam that I might use once a year,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. But I'm very excited. I think that's going to be besides the app thing, that is going to be a really cool advantage to a lot of people to simplify.
Yeah.
Um,
And you can, even on your lock screen, when the phone is locked, you can access them and do all that stuff now too. So it's,
yes, yes,
oh, and then the action button. Many of us who have the 15s and the 15 Pros or whatever, I think it's just the Pro and the Pro
yeah,
Max that has the action button. Now you can assign more things related to Control Center to the action button. So that's always welcome. I think you could do some of those things before through shortcuts, but now it's just going to be built in.
yes, yeah, that's very cool. And then they talked about privacy, and these are really nice features. I think you can lock an app, you can hide an app,
Mm-hmm.
you can do contact access controls of which apps have which access to which contacts, more granularity in that.
Yeah.
Um,
What was the access pairing? I wrote it down. I don't know. Oh,
accessories,
accessory pairing. I'm sorry.
Acce-
So
access pairing.
it
Yeah, I
was
don't know.
it was when like you connect to Bluetooth devices and stuff like that.
Oh,
There's
more
more,
settings on that, but
yeah,
yeah, being
more
able to,
granular settings. Yeah.
yes, being able to control some of that stuff, I like. Messages they talked about.
Some big changes there.
Yeah, so tapbacks, the big one that I'm very excited about, scheduling send. So if you want to send a text message later, which
Oh,
Android and every other app in the world has had for
yeah.
150 years.
So friend of the show, Carolyn, asked me probably 8 months ago, how do I schedule a send on my text? And it's like, well, there's some apps that you can get, or you can do like a shortcut and do it. It's a mess.
Yes.
I'm like, just put it in a note and then set a reminder
Yes.
to go into the note to get the text
To
to put
copy
it
the
in
text to
and
put
put
in
it
the
in
message
and
when
then
you want to
send
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be nice. And some new text formatting. You can do some little text effects where it would, be
Yeah.
wavy or give it a little bit of
Or like
emphasis.
bounce or
Yeah,
shake or whatever. So instead of the entire message doing something, you could have a word like, it's freezing in here, and the freezing could kind of shake.
yes,
So animated things is very, very cool.
yeah. And then they're adding messages via the satellite feature, the SOS, that they've added to the phones the last 2 years, I think. So
So I was thinking as I was out in the wilderness of Zimbabwe,
yes,
if only I could text
text everybody.
with a satellite.
Yes,
Like, I don't know who uses this feature. I mean, maybe there's a lot of active people who ride bikes and stuff who
yeah,
are off the cellular network. That would be nice to be able to do these things. But at the same time, I kind of feel like if you are going to be in those areas, you're equipped already. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. It seems like a very bougie feature.
Yes. 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 The mail app, there's categorization, which I absolutely love in Gmail and
Yeah.
have used for a long time and couldn't survive email without it. So like your your primary, your promotions emails, updates emails, so you have different categories if you use the mail app on iOS.
And of course, you can hit the button and see all your messages
Yeah.
as regular. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's pretty neat. And then many of the apps on iOS were updated, and this was rumored, and I didn't really realize it, but topographic maps were not available in the Maps app.
Oh,
They have terrain, but I don't think that's the
oh,
same as
okay.
topographical. So that's cool. I'm a map guy. I like seeing that. Wallet.
Yeah.
There was a few new things. Tap to cash, so you can, if you have your phone and we tap them together, I can here. Let's try it right now. You send me $1,000.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Yeah, but
it's not available.
and
right
you
now,
don't
but-
have to trade contact information. So if you were selling something or something like that,
Yeah.
just a quick tap
like, let's say you're a vendor at some street fair and somebody wanted to pay for your hot dog, you could tap to
or
pay.
buy a VHS notebook from
Oh,
you
that's
if you're
true.
producer Todd.
Yeah,
or
this will be a new
who
feature.
is furiously texting us images from the bins. Do not get distracted by
Oh,
those two.
I wasn't even noticing, but oh geez.
Yes. Oh, the bins.
Yeah. Todd, you're very distracting, especially with the book that you put
Yes.
in there. I'm thinking maybe you need to buy that. So the and I see I'm already so Todd, if he's at an event and selling one of his notebooks, he struggled with the Square app. Before.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, do I plug it in the thing? I don't have the right adapter. They've updated the software, whatever. Well, this replaces basically the Square device and the
Yeah.
Square app. So that's
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Yes.
And I'm sure it only works with Apple devices, so you'd still have to have that for our Android friends. Journal. Many of us use Journal every day, right?
Mm.
No,
No,
I don't.
no, but they got some new features to that to make it work better. So
What I like about the journal is it'll suggest things. Like
Yeah.
if I go to the park and I take a bunch of pictures of birds and then I come home later that night, I'll be like, hey, do you want to do a journal entry of at the park? And it has a bunch of pictures and the temperature,
Yeah.
and, what the weather
yes,
was.
I should journal more. I have journaled different times in my life, and it's like it really is nice to put some of those memories together, and they've made it pretty easy. They added, they're adding a game mode to iPhone where it'll kind of put everything towards gaming on the iPhone and block out other stuff so that you can really immerse in some of these bigger games.
This was available on macOS where
Yeah.
it would turn off notifications. It would ramp up the processor by shutting down a lot of the background tasks so that you could focus on the game. Well, now it's coming to iOS.
Yes, yes. Okay, so that
Wow.
was the iOS. They went pretty quickly. Now, I will give you a little teaser that we should at the beginning. There is one section at the end of the event that covered all the different stuff, but these are just the different specific things. So they went to audio and home.
Well, did we talk about the photos?
Oh, no,
new
the
changes?
Photos app. Yeah, that's a big one. I skipped right over that. So the Photos app, instead of having the tabs across the bottom, it'll basically be one page with all those different views, a unified
You just
view.
slide up and down. I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not.
Yes.
I think the tabs are fine, but yeah, like a unified view. There's a month and a year view. I don't know if that's there already, but they highlighted it. And then carousel, there's kind of a thing where all of your little events and moments and highlighted things, you can just kind of page through them like a book and be like, oh, here's the one I want, through a little carousel and choose that. So anyway, it'll be different. I have a love-hate relationship with Apple Photos. Sorting, new at top, old at bottom. Why?
I don't know. It was a decision they made many moons ago.
They just won't move from that.
Yeah, so that will be a big change because it is that's definitely one of those things where people have gotten so used to how Photos works that having different things will.
Well, before we head on to the audio and home, there was...
Speaking of home.
Yeah, there was a... Oh, I'm on the wrong... There we go. There was a mail truck that went by, but I was too late.
Oh,
but
yes.
Look, here's our web... or our
driveway cam.
Driveway cam. Geez, I can't even say it.
And you will notice the CRV is in the background, the
Yeah.
rare CRV sighting there.
That vehicle you've been driving for how many years?
15 years now. It
Wow.
just turned 20 years old last last week or last month, but yeah,
Wow.
2009 I purchased that bad boy. So
Very good. Oh, I guess our little inset photo is not on, so they can't see us, but that's okay.
yeah,
That's okay. We're back, but that's the driveway cam for those of you
yeah,
following along on audio.
yes. So speaking of audio and home, the section
Yes.
they talked about AirPods a little bit. There's going to be better Siri access where you can actually, like, if
Yeah.
somebody's calling you, you can nod or shake your head to answer
Yeah.
or not answer. So they had a little video of a guy in an elevator and like, Nana's calling you, and he just shook his head no because it was a busy elevator.
Yeah.
Um,
So that was kind of cool. I can see myself using that. Uh, like text message from Nate. Would you like to respond?
no.
Uh,
Which 99% of my responses to those notifications will be
no.
no.
Yeah. I
Uh,
got an excited one during the event. It says, "Hi, um, why didn't you pick up the call from your good friend?" It was like some random number.
no.
And I'm like, so if that would have come in, I'd have been like, no.
No.
So, home and audio. The in addition to the shaking your head, improved voice isolation. You and I both thought it was there before, but I
Yeah.
guess it's getting better. Where on the AirPod Pros, if there's construction or cars in the background or whatever, it'll filter all that out, and it'll make it sound like you're holding the
Yes.
handset up to your head. I don't know about that. And then personalized spatial audio. This was for games and apps.
Yeah, I think it was expanding the spatial audio into games so games can build spatial audio into it so you get the full surround sound, which spatial audio is, it's kind of mind bending a lot of times when you're
I keep taking special.
spatial. It's very spatial. But yeah, so that's good on the AirPods. Then they went to the Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, this was the insights. It's very much like an
Oh,
IMDb integration to Amazon
yes.
Video, where
Yes.
you pause it and you can find out information about the
Find out
actors,
the
directors.
song,
Yeah,
link directly to the song in Apple Music.
yeah. You were mentioning you were watching Fallout,
Yes.
and you wanted to know who that actor was,
Yes.
or you're like, I recognize that person. What else did they play in?
There's a lot of cameos in
Yeah.
that show. So it was the first time I think I'd ever use it, but I used it often to get some of that added information.
Well,
which
now
is
that's
fun.
coming to Apple TV Plus, so that'll be a
Yes.
highlight. Oh, and man, just talk about it.
Settle down, folks. Sit down and get ready for this one.
Man, so I think this is good. Support for 21.9 aspect ratio.
Yes.
What
The
cinematic?
wider, which I thought you could already do
Yeah, with the
better.
black bars on the top.
Yeah.
But maybe it's for if your TV is that aspect. Like if you, I don't. Or I said something about projection, and so I wonder if there are projectors out there that are 21.9 aspect, and now
it'll be
there's no
better
black
support
bars.
for that.
It's supported.
But
Who
nobody cares.
And here's something else that nobody cares about: portrait video, vertical video on the Apple TV.
Yes.
So formerly it would just show it in the middle of the screen with black on either side, because everybody knows you shouldn't take vertical video. So the TV punishes you.
Yeah.
Well, they've decided to not punish you anymore, and they what do they put? They zoom in, or they put colors, or they make it a little more
Yes.
bearable to watch vertical video on a horizontal screen,
Yeah.
which pretty much every screen is.
Yeah, and then some new screensavers. I think more even like within Apple TV. So if you pause, you can go to the classic ones. You can do some with like your photo galleries, where it'll do kind of like your iPhone home screen, where it'll do some depth in the time.
And there was one with Foundation.
Oh yeah,
television
where
series.
it'll take like cool clips, cinematic clips from Apple TV shows and play that as a screensaver. But yeah, so that was the audio and home section. Not a ton there, like really nothing about home kit type stuff.
Or like HomePods or
Yeah.
nothing.
But then they were on to WatchOS 11 for our Apple Watches.
And if you can zoom in, Tyler just texted.
Just
me something.
texted, yes. So yeah, they got some new training mode stuff, which looks cool, where it'll kind of track if you're training for like a race or something. It'll show you some graphs and everything of what you're doing, some new metrics. A Vitals app which is a new app where it'll give you some glanceable stuff on your vitals, like sleep tracking and all of that, which that'll be nice. I don't know if I need a separate app for that, but just getting quickly to that data that you care about is nice.
Yeah.
And then for Dave, they added a new pregnancy category
Yeah.
in the tracking app, whatever, the Cycles app or whatever, where it can track during pregnancy.
Is that where it is, or is it in the main activities?
I
Maybe
don't know.
I don't know. Regardless, if you are of a gender that can sustain life by growing babies inside of you, then this is useful.
Yes.
So half the population.
Yes. Smart stack update. So Dave and I were joking during the thing that we never used the smart stacks.
Yeah, I was like, how do
But
I
it's
turn
kind
it
of
on?
the notifications and control center within the Apple Watch. They are adding some new functions into that
Yeah, and
I probably still won't use.
I think I did what I did when we were watching TV. I tried to activate it, but that turned it up. It turned up the TV because it was,
Oh yeah, it
it
was
takes
tied
over
to
my
that.
screen. And
Yes.
just today I tried it, and it seemed to.
Yeah. And some more watch face customizations. I must have blinked out during that
Yeah,
part.
it's not new watch faces. It's mainly with photos where it'll
Oh,
go through and pick good options for photos. And
yeah.
I think maybe you can put the time different places. You know, you could right now I think you could put the time at the top or the time at the bottom. And hey, that's who would
Yeah.
need more than that?
Yes.
So I think it's integrating photos
Okay.
with new like color overlays and stuff to really
Gotcha.
customize
Yes.
your experience. And what everybody wants is just custom app watch faces from like developers.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
why can't Blackmagic Design make a watch face with little cool shortcuts to their app or whatever? I don't know.
I don't know. So that was WatchOS, and then we were on to iPadOS 18, which everybody had their eyes on, just
Yeah.
with the new super powerful iPads, what they would release. It's getting the same stuff as iOS 18 with the different app features, a floating tab bar.
Oh yeah, that was a new thing. So everything that was in iOS 18 comes to iPad pretty much.
Yes.
Plus, this tab bar. That's what's the
So
deal?
it's kind of like if you use a Mac, the Finder windows, there's kind of the different options across the top. This gives you some options across the app, which you can also move to the side, but you can customize it, which is what I was saying, like in the TV Plus app. If you always want to go to one area, you can add that up into kind of this shortcuts bar at the top.
It's a contextual menu, which
Yes.
typically I'm not a fan of, but sometimes it's valid when it's used properly within context and not when you don't have to hunt for
Yes.
stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll pop up there when it's relevant. So
Yeah. And then they talked about SharePlay, which neither of us ever used, but this is where you could share your iPad screen with somebody else. Like if you're on a FaceTime call or if, like I'm helping somebody support them on their iPad. Now they can share their screen with me. I can share my screen and like draw on my screen, say, nope, you need to go there and click.
yeah, I really need to use this with my mom. The
Yes.
question is, would she be able to initiate a share
That's
play
always the problem.
session?
Hopefully you could request it from yours and say,
It'd pop up on
yes, and then it would say, yes, let them view my screen, where you could actually control their screen too, which would be very nice for remote IT support on
man.
iPads.
It really would. Then Freeform, which is an app that I use quite a bit. They're adding new tools to it, but I've kind of started opening it up and taking notes at meetings and
Okay.
stuff. But then I didn't realize that Apple Notes pencil integration had gotten much better.
Oh yeah,
And it's
yes.
basically the same. It opens
Yes.
up a Freeform window in Apple Notes. And I'm like,
Yes.
why am I taking it in Freeform when, yeah. So I appreciate all of Apple's efforts, but sometimes it can be a little confusing as to where you should put stuff. But regardless, there are new scenes in Freeform, and I have no idea what that means.
I think it's
couldn't
just
remember.
multiple. You can do multiple things to kind of separate stuff out. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But the biggest news: iPad
Yes.
OS
If you're
18.
driving, stop driving
Yeah.
and pull over because this is going to blow your mind.
Drum roll, please. We have, type on your keyboard, Dave. We have a calculator app.
I
There's
did the
a
air
lot, a
horn.
lot of air horn on that.
Yeah.
So yes, they have comically waited until now to add a calculator app to the iPad. It is initially looks very similar to what you see on your iPhone or on your Mac, but
And it's big.
big, and it's got all the scientific stuff. But they have this new math notes feature where with your Apple Pencil, you can just write equations on there, put an equal sign, and it will solve the equation for you.
Yeah.
So it's,
Very cool.
yeah,
And there have been other apps like this in the past. Of course, I purchased these apps or downloaded them or whatever, and I write out my long equation. Like 24 divided by 6 equals,
yes.
and it'll put the result. But then remember I don't know any of that math stuff. Like I don't know what any of it means, and so I could write it and I could get a result.
I don't
Yeah,
ever, I will never use
but
one bit of that stuff.
but regardless, it is now baked into the
Yes.
calculator app on iPad, which is a great place for it because you have the pencil and you can write
Yes.
things longhand. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. So then they talked about the Notes app, which is also getting that math stuff. So if, like you were talking about, if you're just writing in notes and you need to do some quick math, you can just handwrite it out and it will solve the equation for you,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool.
The smart script though in
Yeah.
Notes is revolutionary.
Yes.
This is man, I fear I the computer might crash, but it's supposed to learn your handwriting, and my
Yes.
handwriting is atrocious. And so if
And
you're
inconsistent.
yeah, so you can do things like writing, I need to go to the store and pick up some eggs, and if you misspell store, it will correct the spelling in your handwriting
Yes.
in that space.
Yeah.
Also, you can, if you are writing something out longhand and you have something on the web, you copy and paste it into your document, it will conform to your
Yes.
handwriting style, so it matches the style that's there already. You can tap and hold to reflow text. So if I have just a line of text and I'm like, oh, there needs to be a paragraph here, I can hold down on the word of that line and pull it over, and it reflows all the words
Yeah.
so that there's a space where the paragraph would go. Or if I'm 3 words in and I decided, oh, I forgot to put a word in here, I go to the 4th word, tap and hold, move it over an inch, then write the word in the space that was left, and it reflows all the text. So that was like big brain moment right there.
Yeah,
It's like,
no, it
that is
looks very
crazy.
cool. The fact that it learns your handwriting style, and then they were showing it even like as you're writing, if you're just really scribbling, it will like morph it and straighten lines and make
Yeah.
it look cleaner.
Yeah, if you're
So it's
writing
your
crookedly.
handwriting, it'll make it look nice, which I think that's gonna
Yeah.
be very cool.
If it works for me, then it's, this is the best invention in the history of the world.
Yes.
But in other obvious things, if there's a word and you scratch it out with your pen, it'll delete it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not a new thing, but it's there now. So the next operating system,
Yes.
Mac OS, not Redwood,
Not Redwood.
but
It is
Sequoia.
Sequoia. The large trees is the name of it this time, and they announced some pretty cool stuff. The first one that we're excited about, Dave will sometimes bring his phone up on the screen during the show to show you stuff. They're building in iPhone mirroring into macOS, so at any time you can just connect your phone. It'll be on the thing. You can control it. You can open apps. You can do anything you would do on your phone while your phone is somewhere else.
Yeah, your mouse is like your finger,
Yes.
and your phone doesn't even have to be present. So I will hopefully no longer have to. I probably still will because it's easier. But currently, I plug in the phone. The computer recognizes it, which is great. That was a
Yeah.
new feature
Yeah.
where you could see your content on the screen or whatever. But now they've taken it a whole new level where it's just wireless. The phone could be in another room. You could control it. Let's say you have a specific application that's not available on your Mac, and you're like, oh, let's say it's like a blood pressure monitor,
Yeah.
something, a blood sugar monitor, something that's hooked your phone. And it's like, oh, I'm in my office and I want to look at that right now. And so you could just open up
Boom.
your phone, click the app, take a look, close the app. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really great.
And you can do drag and drop between, like from your computer.
Yeah.
If you're working on a video, you just drag it into whatever you're doing on your phone. Now the cool thing is he showed us that while you're mirroring on your thing, you're like, well, then my phone's going to be open doing all this stuff. If it's in the
Yeah,
other
somebody
room,
walks
somebody,
in and
yeah, they could see it. No, it keeps your phone locked and just completely like
and
morphs your phone, transports your phone into your computer,
and
into the
and
computer.
it's in the computer.
Yes.
And if the phone is on your desk, turned on its side, charging, and it has that whatever they call that display,
Yes.
the nighttime mode display with the
Yes.
clock and your
Show something.
show clock.
Show clock. Show clock thingy.
So if you have that enabled and you tunnel into it through your Mac, it'll stay that way.
Yeah.
So you can use the phone on your Mac while the phone is sitting there doing something else, like displaying the time or your calendar or your
Yes.
event list or your tasks or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Yes.
And you can, I mean, this stuff is only available on the Mac line because everything's integrated.
Yes.
And that's what I keep going back to with nowhere else can I like get my iPad, handwrite something, open up the note on my Mac, see all the handwriting that's there,
Yeah.
continue the note while typing, and then go to work, open up a different computer. I mean, it's
Yes.
amazing what you can do.
Yes, it is. So then,
Not to be outdone by moving your icons and putting them wherever you want.
yes, yes,
The Mac still has window tiling.
yes.
This is when you have like your Finder window and you move it to the side and it snaps to the side of the window. Here, I'm trying to
Kind of
right.
resizes
Or it
it.
goes in this side or down this corner.
Quadrants
or
or
this
the
corner.
yes.
So I used Magnet is one I used. Moom is one that I got more recently. Better Touch Tool, which I have, also has some of those features, although it's got more features than that. So now, just like Windows has done for years, it's just built in. If you drag a window to the side, it'll just snap to
Yeah.
the side
Yes.
like
yeah.
you think it should.
Yes. Keychain. So they're adding a standalone passwords app because that has not been fun to manage currently. So
You have to go into settings and then find
Yes.
the item and go in. So
no, and it'll also be on Windows, but they're adding a lot of features into that passwords app, which again, if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you need a password manager and everything you use is Apple, this is going to be a huge another step to
Yeah.
let people do that. And the passkeys stuff, getting around away from passwords, which we haven't talked about much. We should talk about that soon, but that's a nice feature. But yeah, this is going to be very nice having that password app. And then Safari, they're adding a bunch of new features. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't,
So Nate and I like Safari, but it's been so gimped over the years and so behind everything else. Now, is it fast? Yes. Is it private? Yes. Does it have features? No.
yeah,
It's no features.
for power users
Yeah.
like us. For most people,
It's fine for most
Yes.
people. But now they have all this, we'll call it machine learning at this point.
yes,
I'm on a web page. I'm on Consist Media's web page, and I just want to know what this web page is about. Well, I can click a thing and it'll give me a little highlight of
Yes.
like Consist Media does this, and this. Nate Heath, blah blah blah, mustaches. It can
all
generate.
you need to know. Perfect.
yeah.
I don't need Safari. I've got
Totally.
you.
It can generate a summary. I think highlights is the feature, the main feature, and then highlights can create summaries. It's got a reader view, which was built in to Safari before. This is where it takes only the text from the page
Yes.
and presents it in a way. So there's improvements there. And then a viewer mode, which
For like
For
makes
video.
video
It's for
bigger
video.
within the window. But
so if I'm on your website and you have a little video playing, it'll kind of, you can put it in this mode and the video fills the window. And if you click away from the window, it puts it in picture.
Yeah.
So it's just more creature comforts on watching a video. But I got to be honest, 99.99% of the videos I watch is on YouTube, and these
you
things,
already have those features.
it's been solved
Yeah.
on YouTube a long time ago. Oh, and who could forget, when you think Macintosh, you think gaming. So this is just kind of a gimme. Of course,
They want you to think gaming.
yeah. Apple has been very bearish on gaming for the longest time, and they've really tried to catch up. And they're like, hey, we're relevant. There's a 5-year-old game that's now available, and
Yes.
it's never looked better. And everybody's like, well, it should look good. It came out 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a potato could run that game now.
Yes.
So their efforts, they have developed a game porting toolkit for developers so that if you have a game that you've developed for Windows or maybe another platform, you can more easily convert that
Yes.
to be playable on the Mac. And I'm just thinking, nobody buys a Mac to game, so are these wasted efforts? I don't know.
Yes.
We might see the fruits of their labors in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yes. So at this point in the show, we were, I think, just over an hour in.
Yeah.
And we went back to Tim Cook, and Dave's like, what, is that it? And I've been thinking all along, they have not mentioned AI. They mentioned a couple little machine learning things in some of the features in the OSs, but I'm like, they've got to do something on this. So then they spent
Another hour.
talking about, they announced it, Apple Intelligence is what they're calling it.
That's what AI stands for.
The AI is for AI. What did they say? AI is for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Apple Intelligence. So then they went through and talked about what this is going to be. And, everybody, oh, Apple's too late to AI. Oh, they'll never catch up and all this stuff. Well,
They've been doing it all along.
Yes, all the photo features, all these different things. They have so much stuff built in. Like they just have this massive foundation that they're building on top of for this Apple Intelligence. And I will, at this point in the show, if you'll remember last week's episode, we had a over under bet on how many times Apple would mention AI, and Dave picked
You picked 65.
I picked 65, and you took the over.
I said it's going to be 1,000,000 times. I thought there's going to be guys
nonstop.
guys from every company and industry coming in saying AI, AI, AI,
Yes.
AI.
I think they used the acronym maybe once or twice when they did that thing at the very end where they said AI for the rest of us, Apple Intelligence.
Well, since they changed what AI means,
Yes.
should we count Apple Intelligence? How many times they
No,
said that? I think
yeah.
it was still well under 65.
Yes, and they did use artificial intelligence a couple times. But yeah, so what this is they kind of talked about some different sections of it. The capabilities, language and text, where it'll be new writing tools, where it'll autocorrect, it'll do that, prioritize notifications, you can make original images, you can sketch, or there's 3 different styles of images that you can create: sketch, illustration, animation, which is kind of a Pixar-like look on there for the images.
And they explain them in further detail later.
Yes.
And then architecture was the next section where it's on-device processing. There's a semantic index, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Semantic meaning that
Sounds good.
it's aware of context and stuff. And then private cloud compute. I think this is where they talked about where they're going to share, like most things happen on device, but your device is limited. So there's going to be a private server where the capabilities of your phone are expanded into these servers versus going into another service. So it's like, oh, I want to do something with AI, and you connect to Microsoft's Copilot or some other Google's, what is it, Gemini?
Yes.
Different things. It's doing it on device and also in the cloud, but they're teamed up with private servers that are very forward facing, where people can look at the code and make sure things are above board. And the main thing is they wanted to make it very clear that Apple will not be stealing your information to sell you advertising, to build new language models, to whatever. They're not going to, like the other companies, just steal your data and do whatever they want with it.
Yes.
So they were very adamant about that part.
Yeah. So then they started talking about Siri, which some people were thinking, oh, are they just going to go away from Siri because so many people think it's been so bad? No, they're sticking with Siri, and Siri is going to encompass all of this. They've got new animation, so like when you hold your button to trigger Siri, it kind of does this highlight around the screen. It doesn't put anything over your screen.
Yeah.
They've got a new icon for it as well. But one of the things I'm really excited about is that you can type to Siri now. You don't just talk to her. You can double click like the little bar across the bottom of your phone, and it will pull up a text thing where you could type in like you would with ChatGPT.
I
or
thought
something
you could do
else.
that before, but I guess you couldn't.
I don't think you can. I think like on the Mac you can kind of ask things within Spotlight and it would
Yeah,
do them.
maybe it
But
was only on Mac.
yeah,
But the only feature I really wanted from Siri, they gave us much. The only thing I wanted was for that stupid bubble to go away when
yes,
I'm in the car driving and I say, you know, what's the temperature? The bubble will pop up, it'll tell me the temperature, and it just sits there.
yeah,
Like, hey, I'm still here. Do you want to talk to me? No,
no,
I already talked to you.
yeah,
Like, read the room. It's
yeah,
been 10 minutes. Go away.
yes,
So
yeah.
that for a hot minute worked, and then it stopped working again. So
But
anyway,
yeah.
but enough on that. But yes, let's see where we're.
So yeah, so the whole idea with this is Apple, again, going back to what you were saying earlier, that they have the control of the hardware, the software, the integrations, all these different things. It's going to understand context. It will, know who the people are in your contacts. It'll know what's in your mail, what's in your notes,
Mhm.
and your photos, and be able to pull from all those different things on device. So hopefully quickly, and be able to pull information, like if you had flight information in your mail app, but then you had your, car rental stuff and a text message, it's going to be able to pull all of that stuff together in one place. So you're not having to copy and go over to Chat GPT and then go over to the image create. It'll do it all
It
in there.
gathers it all.
It's aware of stuff on screen, what you're looking at. You could ask something about that. They are building in, so basically like the Tips app that Dave talks about, they have built part of this AI model is that all of the Apple support type stuff. So if you're like, how do I do that one thing with messages? It will pull that information up from this internal database that they've made, which
I think it's nice. It's
yeah.
a custom large learning model where
Yes,
it's
large
like
language
large
model.
language model. You just say, "Hey, lady, how do I change my settings so that I can set my sleep timer or whatever?" And it'll either generate an article or bring up an article right there that shows you how to
Yeah.
do everything you want to do. So anything with the preferences or settings on the phone or iPad or whatever, you just ask and it'll serve it up.
Yes.
This has been missing from, I mean, Apple famously does not tell you about features or how to you it's like you got to go online, you got to search, you got to find all this stuff, and it's like they should just tell us. The Tips app is great, but it's very limited. So this is
Yeah.
the Tips app on steroids.
Yes. Then they spent some time talking about the rewrite feature, which previous pick of the week, Grammarly, which I use all the time and
Yeah.
saves me in writing. But you can have it rewrite things. Like if you're rewrite or writing an email, you can select it and have it change tones to a more friendly, a more
Yeah.
professional. It'll proofread, do the connections, very much like Grammarly, how I use it on my Mac. But
Yes, if
it'll
you're making a message says you want to invite your boss to lunch, yo dog, let's go catch a slice of pizza. You could highlight that and say make it more professional, and it would say, would you mind going to get some casual Italian food for lunch today?
Yes, yes. But yeah, priority messages and notifications where it'll kind of push stuff to, if it's like, hey, are you coming? We're waiting on you. That would be at the top
Yeah,
of your notifications.
even if it's like 20 messages down,
Yeah,
it's like this is a priority here.
and it's all system wide across iPad, iPhone, and your Mac. So that's going to be great. And then next step, a new term, Genmoji, where you can use
What?
Apple Intelligence to generate emojis. So if you needed a specific emoji, you can then just create whatever you want.
Yeah. So show me an emoji of Nate wearing sunglasses. And supposedly it goes into my contact list and say, did you mean Nate Heath? Yes. And then it'll show you a picture of him in one of the three styles.
Yes.
With sunglasses. Or actually with the emoji, it's
just
own
an
style.
emoji. Yes. Yes.
And so it'd probably be your face with sunglasses on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Dinosaur on a surfboard was one that I saw.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. And so then building on that, they talked about this image playground where you can create images in those styles, and they've got this playground thing where you can choose like different terms, and then it'll build something from that. So if dinosaur, chef hat, motorcycle.
You put them around it, and in the middle, it starts to generate things based on the criteria.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of cool. So you can get the preview, and when it fits what you had in mind, you can go ahead and
Yeah.
use that wherever. The magic wand or image wand thing. So there was a AI tool that came out a while back where you start drawing something on the
Oh, yeah.
screen, and it's like if you do a really poor outline of a dolphin, it would make like a
Yeah, we played around with that on the
fully
show way back.
fully formed dolphin or whatever. So that's built in now with Image Wand. You can refine sketches to create an image. So you go into Apple Notes and you get your pencil and you start sketching out something, and boom, to the side it's generating images based on your sketch. And when it finally hits something that you like, then you can
Yeah.
use it and be like, I'm Picasso.
Yeah.
Uh, this wasn't really part of Image One, I don't think, but they were saying it all in the same thing. So now in photos, right, you can highlight people in the background that you don't want in there,
Yes.
and it can remove them, much like Google's tools have
Google
done for a
and
while.
other apps that,
Yeah.
but a lot easier image removal, which will be very nice. And then just even like with the photos, you can search with natural language through all of your photos and videos. So you could say, I could say, find that time Isla was trying to do a cartwheel, and it will know in a part of a video where she
Yeah.
tried to do a cartwheel and bring that out, or, all the pictures of her wearing tie-dye, and it will go through and it knows who Isla is and it knows what tie-dye is. So it would surface all those photos, which I use the search function and the location function and all this stuff. But now if I can just say, show me every picture from the Marathon Taverna, it'll just bring all those up. And then I can find that one that I'm trying to remember from 7 years ago.
Or show me that video when Nate was standing on top of his car singing Memories from Cats, and it should
Well,
know what a car is.
Most of my video.
Yeah, that's true. I'd have to narrow it down, but not all of them were on top of a car.
Well, true. But yeah, and then you can record and transcribe audio and notes, and they're also going to be adding that into phone calls where you can just record audio and it'll do transcription, much like you can do with a lot of other things. And they already have the Siri transcription, but
Yeah.
it'll do a better job of doing that.
So I wrote this in here. Does it record the voice, the audio from the phone call, or just do the text?
It sounds like, I think it will record.
It'll tell the other party.
Yes, it has some sort of, so you'll probably only be able to do it iPhone to iPhone.
Yeah.
And if you're on a call with them, you would say, hey, I want to record this. And then it would give them sort of prompt that they would
Accept
confirm,
or whatever.
yes, you may record this. And then you can have a transcription of
I
a
mean,
phone call.
it has to record it to do a transcript. So whether that audio recording is available to you or not, the phone still has to record the
Yeah.
conversation to
Yes.
do a text transcript. So that's interesting. We'll see more of that. I can think many of the scenarios would be if you're like a reporter doing an interview,
Yes,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Just to have
or
it
you're writing a
easily in
book.
FaceTime.
Yeah. So it's just there. You say, hey, can I do a transcript of this? Otherwise, you have to have another device sitting there record. I don't know how you would do it. I'm sure there are ways.
So,
But then the big reveal, the huge, giant reveal, the Apple Intelligence is created by Apple,
yes.
but they're also partnering with ChatGPT from OpenAI, so that you can say like, hey, dingus, let's give me this answer about this president or something like that, and it may go, hey, I don't know that, but ChatGPT may know that. Click a button here to go
To push outside of Apple's
Little
private
bubble.
thing
Yeah.
to go to ChatGPT. So they will have the 4.0, which is the current version of ChatGPT. And you can also, if you have a paid account like I do, you can connect that to get the full features.
Yeah.
But it will be a free version, and they've created some new APIs and stuff. So all apps will be able to tie in with this Apple Intelligence. You'll be able to have certain triggers within your apps that'll connect to things. But yeah, the whole idea is Apple's going to do as much as possible on device. Then they have their privacy focused servers that can do more stuff. But then if you need to go past that into something that ChatGPT would be good at, it'll have that option, and other services will be coming into that
It's
as well.
it's like ogres. ogres have layers,
Yes.
just like onions.
Just like onions.
So there's layers within layers within layers, which is kind of nice because the guys over at Chat GPT don't seem like they're fully above board on
Yes.
everything. So this is going to add a layer between your privacy
Yes.
and people who are sucking up everything on the internet with or without permission to create these tools. So that's kind of nice. And that's the event in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That was 2 hours
Yeah.
compressed into 45 minutes.
Compressed into 2 hours. Oh, yeah, 45 minutes. But yeah, no, I think
55 minutes. Yeah.
Apple Intelligence, I think it's going to be amazing just because Apple has so many devices that
Yeah.
it's going to make it accessible to everybody, make it easy. Most people are used to using Siri. They're used to using these apps. You don't have to go somewhere else for this. And it's going to be across everything. I think the OS updates they announced are all pretty good. We'll probably find out more. They do their State of the Union, which is more directed at developers this afternoon. So a lot of people will be getting a lot more information. I'm sure we'll talk about more stuff next week. But I was really impressed. You were kind of saying afterwards that you're like, okay, where
What's
did
next?
they go from here? Like, it seems like they're doing everything.
Well, everything that's been on the checklist for years. They're
Yeah.
like, moving icons on your home screen. Check. Making Siri better. Check.
Yeah.
All these things. It's like drop the mic and walk away.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do next year?
Yeah. It will be, who knows? I mean, if you look back a year, how far AI has come. So even just the changes in that, and they won't stop. But yeah, this seems like a very big year in the world of Apple. And as these OSs start rolling out to people, I think it's going to be very cool to
I know
see
what
what
it is.
happens.
Next year, you can sort your photos. Newest at top.
Yes.
That'll be the big
The
innovation.
whole thing. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's the episode, and I'm sorry I didn't get the word out for people to join us live because we are a
You
different.
can watch the recording. It's
Yeah, at noon it'll be on YouTube. You can obviously watch like always, and I'll get it out to the podcast apps. But a very different episode. We will be back to regularly scheduled programming next Tuesday evening at our normal time. But yeah, it was a fun event, and I'm excited for what's to come on this. I will remind people, head over to notpicks.com. We do have that giveaway, the $20 Amazon gift card. I think you have another week or so to leave a review on any product. And also a reminder, Father's Day is coming up, and getting emotional. No, if you have a father who has everything, like these two fathers, there's probably something on NotPicks that you can find that they don't have that they would really enjoy for Father's Day. We've got a lot of tech picks, but there's other stuff too, home and kitchen and clothing, belts. Get one of these belts.
These belts are great.
I will take off my belt.
Oh, boy.
One of these ratchet belts. Man, this has been the best thing to ever happen to my waist, besides losing a lot of weight, was buying this Fairwind belt there. And my shorts.
I'm typing the authorities now.
Yes.
I do not feel safe right now.
And Dave's belt.
What's going on here? This show has
Are those socks a previous pick? But no, notpicks.com. We love it. Don't have a Amazon purchase. We'll get one up for next week since we're doing the odd show. But yeah, thanks to all of our support. Let us know if you have any questions, if you're confused by any of this stuff. Maybe we'll do a little Q&A in next week's episode just about some of this stuff we talked about, because there was a ton of information we just covered. But we're excited. Apple stuff, Apple event.
It's fun.
Yeah, well, now you can get out there and tech better.
See.